So I wanted to take a moment to tell you about one of my latest stories, KATHEKON, which I am pleased to announce has been published in the February issue of Savage Realms Monthly. If you're not familiar with Savage Realms Monthly, this is considered a magazine because it comes out every month, but it's essentially like a trade paperback sort of format, and they specialize in sword and sorcery speculative fiction. I'm happy to say my story is the first one in the February issue. It's the first one on the list, basically. They're not published in any particular order, but I tell you that because if you're kind of curious to read a little bit about it, if you go to Amazon, where you could buy this on Amazon, it does allow you to preview the book before you buy it. And thankfully, since mine is the first one in the book, you get a chance to preview the first few pages of KATHEKON. Just to talk a little bit about what KATHEKON is. So KATHEKON, the word KATHEKON is the Greek word for stoic duty. And my story is all about the false ideal of duty, how the sense of duty is counterproductive to anyone who wants to lead a successful, prosperous life. Meaning, duty means to do something because you believe it is your responsibility to do it, whether or not you benefit from the actions that are taking place. This story, first of all, this story takes place in Bronze Age Malta, the island of Malta, Bronze Age. And the protagonist, his name is Saflieni. Saflieni is the last of a line of his people. He's a descendant of one of the oldest races of people. They're all gone. He's the last one left, and he is imprisoned in the Hypogeum on Malta. The Hypogeum, if you're not familiar with it, it's a man-made labyrinth underground that was hand-carved ages and ages ago. The story deals with some of the mythology surrounding that, what the Hypogeum could have been used for. And Saflieni is imprisoned there behind a thick bronze door. That bronze door is guarded by the swordsman of the story. And it deals with his folly because he is guarding that door from a sense of duty. I don't want to give too much away because there's quite a bit more to the story, but check it out and see for yourself if you're curious. Most of my stories are based on some of my music from the past. And I recorded a song way back when, it's been probably 15 years ago now, called The Insidious Wizard Grasps the Intangible. And I wanted to write a story that was inspired by that song, basically like the text transcription of that song. And that's what this is. But rather than it being a wizard, which would, wizard is a figure of, I guess, like Northwestern Europe, probably. In this case, Saflieni of the story is a magos, and a magos would be the equivalent of a wizard from the Mediterranean part of the world. At any rate, it's also about grasping the intangible, meaning getting your hands physically on something that does not exist in the material world. And using that for your own advantage. So, like I said, there's a bit more to the story than even that. If you read it a few times, you might pick up some more little hidden underlying themes throughout KATHEKON. So, regarding Savage Realms Monthly, this is actually a pretty cool collection. There are 5 authors. So, Robert M. Price is probably the most notable author here. I remember seeing Robert Price like on documentaries about like the ancient world and ancient civilizations and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to be in a publication alongside Robert M. Price. You also have Stephen Alan Payne, Matt Hilton, and Kell Myers. And the book itself it's about 135 pages. After each person's story, there's like a brief interview with the author as well. And mostly the interviews, well, the same questions are asked. It's all about sword and sorcery. I have a love-hate relationship with sword and sorcery as an artistic medium, if you will. I think a lot of it is quite dreadful, to be honest with you. But when I like it, I love it. It tends to be, that's why I don't write sword and sorcery consistently. I write a variety of things here and there, and I can never really commit to just writing sword and sorcery because of the trappings of the genre. But anyways, you can read a little interview with me and with the other authors in here as well. Of the other authors in this collection, I think Matt Hilton's story, Black Rain, Gray Snow, and Red Death, is probably my favorite. What I like about Black Rain, Gray Snow, and Red Death is, first of all of the primary characters, and there's like 5 or 6 primary characters in this story that supplement the protagonist, Corvix, they're all very well-rounded. One of my criticisms of Sword and Sorcery oftentimes is that the characters just, they don't act in a believable fashion, or oftentimes they act in contradiction with their fundamental purpose in the rest of the story. They do things that somebody in their situation would not normally do or should not normally do. Corvix acts in accordance with his own nature. He's a very likable character, and all of the supporting characters in the story are also very likable. And they're well-rounded, and the way that they behave throughout is aligned with their fundamentals, if you will. The action in here is all very well written as well. He's got a very good vision for staging the battle scenes, the fight scenes. Even the villain of the story, the witch of the story, I really like the way that he portrayed the witch, because a lot of times these guys write these stories with these evil sorceresses and female villains, and I always get a sense like they probably just never had girlfriends or something, because they always make these villains like these voluptuous, beautiful, evil Lyns from He-Man looking. You could tell they watch He-Man, because all their villainous women look like evil Lyn from He-Man, the original cartoon, that is. And that is not how the witch, the sorceress, the evil villainess of this story is portrayed at all. Much more believable, and in a way that I think if you were an evil villainous female, you would look and behave. I thought that was very cool. So anyways, that's it. Savage Realms Monthly, February. My story KATHEKON's in there. I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out on Amazon. And like I said, you can read the first few pages, and you can get a read for the first few pages of my story and decide if you like it or not. I think your life would be better if you did buy this, and if you read my story especially, as well as the other authors in here. It will improve your life. Life won't be such a dreadful experience. You probably if you read this book, you'll wake up the next day feeling a little bit better about yourself. That's what I say. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Savage Realms Monthly, February.